Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Tuesday night, the 18th of May, 2021. Joe Rayo on the left, Joe Chaffee speaking, and the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, the land of mulch. They have all the mulch that you could possibly need to make your yard look great. Not just mulch, by the way. They've got everything else in terms of what you might need for tools and supplies to make your yard look like it's magnificent. And that mulch comes in different colors. I have already established my preference for the red. And the telephone number 631-756-1125, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. And they have the best prices in town because they make their own mulch and they're a lot cheaper than the big box stores. Also brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs when the time comes. Or you might want to do this as a side business or a full-time business. Give them a call, 631-957-5106. Also on Long Island in Suffolk County at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. So Joe Rayo is back from doing another round of library appearances. At least you can do them from your own. This virtual stuff does work because you don't have to drive to these places. You can just do them from your house.
Yeah, yeah. I got this idea from you. I mean, I used to remember how used to take off from Fios One saying I got a library talk tomorrow night, or on the way into work, or on a Saturday. And actually, I think there was one talk in 2019 where it was about the tying astronomy with meteorology, and you didn't feel too comfortable in talking about that. So you asked me, and I said, why not? And I drove from here up here in Putnam Valley. It took me almost 2 hours, but I gave the talk at the North Babylon Library. And I want to tell you something, Joe. I hope I hope we never go back to live in-person talks, because you're absolutely right. To do these talks from the comfort of your home using PowerPoint on your own computer is so much easier than getting in the car and commuting X number of miles to get there and setting up and relaxing. And this is great.
Yeah, well, it is. It does make life a lot easier. I'm glad that you're getting a ton of library appearances. That is definitely a good thing. Welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight. Everybody's already busy chattering. Just want to mention, by the way, condolences to Christina Pedia for her loss. Our deepest sympathies to you. I don't think she's on the board tonight, but I've been meaning to say something because I have noticed it posted there and also on the chat in Discord. So we both, Joe and I, extend our sympathies for your loss. So ahead of us now as we move to tomorrow, after what was a very nice day today, although I sat in clouds all day and I didn't get out of the 60s because I'm getting blow off from all the stuff that's going on in Texas, where they're getting clobbered with heavy rains and thunderstorms. So a lot of that cloud cover kind of blew off to the east and kept us mostly overcast today. Every time the sun tried to make an appearance, the clouds just reformed. It's life in the mountains here, Joe. But I noticed up in the in your region, my region, when I'm there, eastern PA to southern New England, looked good today. There was minimal cloud development. I didn't notice any pop-up showers anywhere, so it looked pretty good.
No, we didn't have any pop-up showers, no virga, nothing. It was just scattered to maybe in the afternoon. For some places, there might have been a brief period of broken cloudiness, but for the most part, it was warm, it was dry, we had lots of sunshine, and temperatures in most areas peaked out within a few degrees of 80. And it looks like tomorrow will be the warmest day of the whole week, Joe, with some spots perhaps challenging 90. I think New York City will probably be up near 87, 88 degrees. Where I am, we may even be up that high. But then we're going to have a bit of a change coming in the overnight hours of tomorrow night and into early Thursday. Some call it a backdoor cold front. I actually am calling it a side door front because we have a
Yeah,
front that's going to be coming in straight in from the east, if you will,
yeah,
and changing the wind direction.
yeah. It does to me. Well, it also you get a repositioning of the high. It kind of rebuilds in the Gulf of Maine, so you wind up seeing a little bit more of you certainly see a bit more of an ocean flow Thursday into Friday, particularly north and east of New York City. I think if you go south, once you get away from the coast, you head down through New Jersey and point south, and you get away from the immediate coast. I don't think the inland areas are going to have any problems warming up into the 80s. But there will probably be, it will definitely be cooler in places like Long Island, the southern New England coast
Yeah.
for Thursday and,
Yes.
and for Friday as well. This is one of the issues when you deal with weather in the springtime. It can look like that there's no backdoor front, and then all of a sudden, voila, there actually is one, because we're really talking about the very bottom part of the atmosphere here where all this stuff is happening. And in the meantime, we're sitting in this sweet spot, and I'll bring up the satellite loop, and you can see. I'll show you exactly what I'm suffering from. And look at that arc. You see that arc, Joe, that runs from the Gulf of Mexico northward into Mississippi, and then kind of turns east and east southeast across North Georgia and into South and North Carolina. That's what I sat under all day today, in that
Uh,
strip of clouds. And in the meantime, yeah, there were clouds up in northern New England that are moving southward. We continue to see these upper troughs dropping down from Canada, but they're happening further to the east now. So that puts the area between the clouds to the south from North Carolina southward and some of the clouds up in central and northern New England in between there. It's pretty much smooth sailing and clear skies. Big blow up of storms going on this evening. I was going to try to get a hold of Addison Green, but I got caught up in a few things, and I didn't message him because would have liked to have gotten his perspective here on what's going on with respect to the heavy rains that have been occurring in Texas. But you can see all the rotation, that upper low that's rotating back in New Mexico, producing severe weather again in parts of West Texas, and of course you're getting all that tropical moisture that's blowing up with heavy rains in East Texas.
it's tough to be stuck underneath a band of what I might be call it schmutz.
Yeah,
uh, but and again, as you just mentioned, poor Addison, preparing for or battling, the potential of many inches of rain. But that's the kind of stuff that you have to go through sometimes when you live all the way down, as far south as he is now, and in the land of humidity.
yes,
One of the nice things that we talked about this is the fact that when it warms up like this in, let's say, May or even early to mid June, usually we get the heat, but we don't get the oppressive humidity that we tend to get when we get on into late June, July, and August. That's the one nice thing. Um, I've not, for example, had to turn on the air conditioner or grope for a fan so far to stay cool or comfortable. But those days are coming, but they're not here, not quite here just yet.
yeah. The house is still cool. It always stuck in my mind. The first really hot day, your house is still playing catch up in terms of heating. So you're still reasonably comfortable. But after one day, that little gift disappears rather quickly. I actually didn't mind the fact that it was overcast here all day because I got to when the sun comes out here, it's very strong. So even though the temperature might not always reflect it, the strength of the rays of the sun on your body, you do feel it. So it was kind of nice walking today with temperatures in the low 60s. I had a sweatshirt on. I didn't have to worry about collecting ticks, at least I hope not. And the dog did 4 miles today before he saw the truck parked as we were in the park, and he saw the truck in the distance and began to pull me there, telling me that, okay, we're done because I'm not doing another climb up the mountain. He lets me know when he don't want to
See,
do it no more.
yeah, I remember when my Yorkie, I thought I'd take him on a nice, you know, I said leisurely. We go down our hill to the local deli. That's 7/10 of a mile, and then we had to go back up 7/10 of the mile back up the hill to get to where I am. And about halfway through the coming back part, the dog just let me know, like, I ain't moving, I ain't going anywhere. So I had to pick him up and carry him for the rest of the way. Now that's not so bad with a little Yorkshire Terrier. I'm sure that would be a little bit more difficult with a much larger uh, dog such as yours.
Yeah, he likes to walk, but when he's done, he's done. You know, he also loves to
Yeah.
run. We are being pressed by Mr. Ruben Fairchild and Mr. Michael Odell, who is new to the chat board, but not new to me, um, to begin speculating about the Memorial Day weekend. Joe and I are feeling so generous tonight that I think we'll do so. We'll take a look and uh, see what it looks like down the road. In the meantime, flash flood
We will.
watches. Yeah, we will. Flash flood. You just agree with me, and then you're fine. Flash
Okay.
flood watches up for virtually the entire eastern half of Texas. We have a working tornado watch up in parts of South and Southeast Texas. Flash flood warnings in the red. Severe thunderstorm watch in Northeast Texas into Southwest Arkansas. Flash flood watches up for Western and Southern Louisiana. So this is where all the rain is concentrated at the moment. And there was some severe weather earlier out in parts of West Texas. There, you could barely see it here on this map, but I'll show you on Tornado HQ in a moment that there are a couple of working warnings there as of 8:43 Eastern Time. Still a bit of winter going on in the Northern Rockies. We've got winter storm warnings up for, I think that's 2 counties in northwestern Montana, and winter weather advisories and winter storm watches up for areas surrounding that into Idaho, and also for northwestern Nevada and northeastern California, and even some freeze advisories up for parts of northern Washington. But meanwhile, in the east, it is absolutely quiet. The Storm Prediction Center is busy tonight, so somewhat busy. I don't think they're as busy as they were last night. So far, storm reports today: 2 tornadoes, 8 reports of winds of 50 knots or higher, but no reports of 65 or higher. 7 reports of hail, but no reports of hail 2 inches or more in diameter. So a total of 17 reports so far. And as we said, we have a working tornado and a working severe thunderstorm watch in an area of slight risk. You see the marginal risk that pushes up into western Missouri and eastern Kansas. Also a small area of marginal risk, southeast Louisiana, southernmost Alabama and Mississippi. And then as we move on to Wednesday, so this is for Wednesday into Thursday, with nothing moving, with the upper high the way it is, everything, the entire East Coast, except for southern Florida, no thunderstorms are forecast. But you see where the marginal risk is: western Louisiana, southwest Arkansas, across much of Texas. Slight risk in the southern, what's known as South Texas, down from, say, Corpus Christi, from just north of Corpus Christi down to Brownsville, and then north and west of there. That is for the period Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday into Friday, we are looking at slight risk up the mountains. So, well, the plains, the eastern part of Colorado is more plains than mountains. Western Nebraska, western South Dakota, eastern Wyoming, with marginal risk surrounding that. And then on Friday's the first, they come back, Joe. SPC's got this is Thursday into, Thursday into Friday. They're back with that, uh, the edge of thunderstorms from Caribou to west of Boston, probably to about Worcester, Hartford, Nassau County on Long Island, then cutting New Jersey on a diagonal to about Wilmington, to about Washington, D.C., and then swinging back into Virginia. So much of the interior Northeast and back through the Great Lakes in an area of general thunderstorms for this is for Thursday into Friday. And I imagine that's probably due to whatever upper trough comes down Thursday night.
Right. It's almost like, yeah. Well, I said it's like not a backdoor cold
It's
front,
a side
which would
door.
come down from the north and northeast. But this is like a side door. It literally is pushing from right to left or from east to west across the tri-state area Wednesday night into early Thursday, and that may serve. I think, as you pointed out at the beginning, most everybody tomorrow, probably even on the island and along the Jersey Shore, will get into the 80s, well into the 80s. But then on Thursday, the flow is going to come from the south and southeast, bringing in that cooler flow, that maritime flow from off of the ocean. And so on Thursday, places near the water will be noticeably cooler, whereas places that are inland, away from the influence of that onshore flow, it's going to be a light onshore flow, will still manage probably to reach to or even above 80 degrees. So there'll be shades of differences, but again, it will be, I think, a noticeably cooler or somewhat cooler day on Thursday compared to Wednesday, though very mild, if not downright warm, still for this time of the year.
Southern New England, down up the East Coast into Florida, west into Alabama, Tennessee, either has no precip forecast over the next 7 days or minimal precip over the next 7 days. When I'm say minimal, I'm talking about a tenth of an inch or less. There are some higher amounts. You see them in upstate New York, go well up into northern New York and northern Vermont, on the order of a quarter to a half or a little bit higher, and also some patches across Pennsylvania into West Virginia, Ohio, and Indiana, and parts of Michigan. But it's really minimal precip here in the east. And you actually can see what's happening with respect to just looking at the precip field the way it's drawn. That's the big ridge in the east. And in the meantime, on top of the rain that's already fallen, we're looking at 7 to as much as 10 inches of rain in parts of east and southeast, in parts of southeast Texas. 5 to 7 inches covers a large portion of south and eastern Texas. And then the amounts start to lessen a bit as you move up to the north through Oklahoma, western Arkansas, western Missouri, eastern Kansas, and then you also got a lot of precip, Joe, up in the northernmost plains in North Dakota, northern Minnesota, over the next 7 days, an inch and a half to 3 inches or more, extending all the way back through Montana. Very wet up in the Northern Rockies. This is usually a time of year where things start to calm down over there, but not so this year. And also seeing some wet weather extending down into parts of Nevada and in northeastern California, interestingly enough. And some of that's actually going to be in the form of snow. And some of the stuff that's going on in northwest Montana is also going to be in the form of snow. So the big ridge is loving us right now.
Now, have they stopped yet at Weather Prediction Center and actually putting out probability forecasts for snowfall, or is that still
No, that's still there.
still
Yeah,
going on?
I can pull it up. Hold on. Snow.
I think they got to stop finally on June 1st, whether or not the pattern supports it or not. It's getting kind of
Well, let's see
ridiculous to
what
still
they
have
have.
snow this late in the season.
Let's see what they have on the probability over the next 72 hours. It's always fun to take a look at. We'll give the page a moment to load here. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry. That's the snow cover maps. Is it this one? Yeah, that's the one. That's the probabilistic. The probabilistic.
Blah 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 blah
Wah,
blah
wah,
blah blah.
wah, wah, wah. Yes, ma'am. Wah, wah, wah. No, ma'am. Wah, 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 wah. Oh God! If there was nothing truer than that, as a depiction of what an adult sounds like to a child, that was it. All right, so this
Wah,
is,
wah, wah, wah,
yeah, wah wah
wah.
wah wah. Okay, or what a wife sounds to a husband. Yes. All right, so here we go. The probability of at least two. And actually, Joe, 95 to 100% probability over there in northwestern Montana, and also some very high probabilities in northwestern Nevada, northeastern California, southern Oregon, and even in the mountains in the eastern half of Washington in the Cascades. Let's do the probability of 4, because this map is going to, we're not going to be using this for months, so Let's get our last licks in here. Look at that, 95% probability of at least 4 in a strip there up in northwestern Montana. Shall we try 8? Let's see what 8
Why
has to
not?
say. And an 80% probability in a relatively narrow strip also in northwestern Montana. Just for laughs, we'll go to 12 and take a look at that. Well, look at that, 50% or higher. That somebody's going to get clobbered. All right, I'm going to put 18. Let me go for it. We'll put 18. Let's see. Let's see. Yep, there it is, Joe. There's actually one spot there. I have no idea what it is, where they have a 20 to 30% chance of at least 18. Talk about
Pretty crazy.
Yes, talk about hitting a target. All right, let's look at Joe Rayo's back side door cold front, and we've got this Omega block. I'll bring up an illustration that I had I put on my website earlier today, just to give everybody a good idea, a better idea of what this looks like. So whenever you have two strong lows with a big high sandwiched in between, like you do here, it's called an omega block because it looks like the Greek letter omega, which is kind of it looks like a horseshoe or an upside down U. But this is, we have this low that is one upper low center that's north of Bermuda and another one out to the east. You have another strong upper low deep trough dropping down into the west, which kind of explains why you're seeing big snows where you're seeing them from northwestern Montana and also parts of eastern Oregon, northeastern California, northwestern Nevada, and of course the strong ridge that is in between. And we're right in the sweet spot. So, Joe, this is one of those blocks. We always talk about blocking let's say in a negative sense, because usually when we see north blocks in the North Atlantic, it can be problematic for our weather here. This is different, though. This is one of those blocks that we like because we're in the sweet spot.
And Bill Rogers is asking on the chat board, Joe, I've never heard of the term side door cold front. Can you expand on this phenomena? And Bill, basically, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else has used that terminology. I just simply said side door because of your typical
Here,
back door cold front.
I'll draw it. I'm going to draw on the surface
Yeah.
map for. It's a little hard to find where it actually is because there is. This is for tomorrow morning. There's some kind of weak. If I follow the isobars, the front is kind of hanging. Hang on a second, John. Just let me try to erase this. The front. It isn't even really a front. It's more like a trough with a wind shift line that's up to our north, but and dropping southwestward. So go ahead. I'm sorry. You go ahead and explain.
Well, your standard type of backdoor front would come on down from like the north and east, through kind of a diagonal slant through Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and down through Connecticut and into the tri-state area. But this front that's going to be coming through tomorrow night late or early on Thursday looks to be more or less straight up and down from north to south, pushing in again from the east or from the right across the New York City area to the left, to the west, and anywhere that you happen to be on the right-hand side or east of that line, you'll be in a cool airflow, or at least a cooler airflow compared to what you would be encountering if you were on the left or west side of that frontal line. It's just gonna quietly move on through tomorrow night and on Thursday. And again, the winds tomorrow will be light north-northwest, and even coastal locations will probably warm up quite a bit. But then on Thursday, the winds look like they're going to be coming from the other direction, from the south and southeast, so that if you're near the water, Jersey Shore or South Shore of Long Island especially, you'll be noticeably cooler, quite a bit cooler. And then as you move away from the influence of that maritime flow, that south or southeasterly wind, inland, you'll see the temperatures warm up quite a bit. Um, so
Well, up by
there's going to
Joe,
be
where he is, where
changes.
Bill is, he's going to be on the west side of the high end of the Gulf of Maine with a southwest wind. So the temperatures up in Vermont and northern New Hampshire are going to be a lot warmer than they're going to be on Long Island and southeastern New England in on Thursday.
Right,
A lot warmer.
right. Inland areas away from the influence of that maritime. And the fact is, the flow is tomorrow and on Thursday ain't much to write home about. I mean, like, 5, maybe 10 miles per hour, even along the shorelines. And, if you really want to get a good sea breeze and a good cooling effect, you like to see those winds like whipping up to somewhere like 10 to 20 miles an hour. That is not happening either from the north and northwest tomorrow or from the south and southeast on Thursday. This is kind of like a very, what's the term I'm using? Lackluster type of airflow.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
but
bringing
again,
up.
if you
I'm sorry, I'm bringing up the high
if you
temperature map for Thursday just to show how what it looks like on the surface. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, I mean, if you're near the shore, if you're along the Jersey Shore, the South Shore of Long Island, it will be quite noticeably cooler than it will be when you're stepping outside during the afternoon hours tomorrow. Again, inland areas, you might drop a degree or two from where you were, let's say, or where you're going to be tomorrow compared to Thursday, but it's still going to be rather warm as you go inland away from the influence of that cooling effect of the sea breeze.
I basically kind of drew a line where the impact is going to be from the red line for Thursday from there east. You'll notice that temperatures central Long Island 72, the coast of Connecticut mid 70s, southeastern Connecticut, New London 67, southeastern New England around Cape Cod. You're looking at temperatures barely to 60, even some upper 50s there. But go inland, and you don't have to go that far because you're right. This is a very lackluster probably overstates it. This is a very lackluster side door cold front because it's only really impacting the immediate coast. I mean, you're looking at highs in interior Massachusetts, Worcester 82, Springfield 85, low and mid 80s. Montpelier up in northern Vermont 86, Burlington 84, 85 for a high, Albany 84. If this were a really true, a real true backdoor front, you would be seeing temperatures probably in the 50s and 60s across much of New England, or even 40s in some instances as you go further north. But in reality, this is really just a localized, this side door is going to just be a local effect. And we're probably going to see it linger a bit on Friday. Again, along the immediate coast, temperatures also may be a little bit lower on Friday because there might be some cloud issues in some areas upstate New York and on up into New England. But you'll notice if you go down through New Jersey, Pennsylvania, down into Virginia, you're looking at temperatures in the middle and even a few upper 80s. So again, very, very localized here as far as the impact is concerned.
And Bill Rogers chiming in with an agreement with what you just said a few moments ago, Joe. He said, I'm in Newfane, Vermont. Doesn't look like the front will affect me, and it probably won't, Bill. I mean, where you are, you're certainly not parked next to a cool ocean. But again, it will be significant for folks who live near the ocean on Thursday as compared to what we're going to see tomorrow.
And meanwhile, waves of thunderstorms continue Wednesday in Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana. You can see how the GFS just fires them up and lifts them on up to the northeast. Again, they're in that prime spot there on the west side of the upper ridge, and that's where all the moisture is going in a narrow band running up from south to north, and it's not moving, so the moisture feed just continues out of the Gulf of Mexico into southeast Texas pretty much for the rest of the week. And in the meantime, here in the east, we do start to see the upper ridge move a little bit westward, so that kind of opens up a door for weather systems to drop down from the north. There's a week one Thursday Thursday evening and Thursday night. There's some showers and storms that are produced up in parts of Maine and northern New Hampshire and scattered around during the overnight. On Friday, looks like maybe some late day scattered showers and storms as another little upper trough comes through. And then that sort of hangs around on Saturday. I'm I'm trying to get a grasp on how the weekend's going to be, Joe. I look at the GFS and part of me wants to say that this is somewhat overdone because we've got this dry upper high. The upper trough that's coming down is nothing really to write home about. So I wonder whether the GFS is just a little bit overdone here with precip for Friday night into Saturday. I'm going to pull up the NAM. I just want to see what the NAM did with this. See,
If you're wondering,
the NAM is not
I
really
mentioned
anything to write home about here with showers and storms for Friday and Friday night. Most of them go into New England.
I kept Friday dry. For Saturday, I said sun gives way to clouds, risk of a late day shower. Sunday, only a slight risk of a late day shower or thunderstorm, and actually turning warmer. In fact, it looks like, Joe, that this cool flow may keep the temperatures, let's say, near or just below 80 Friday and maybe even into Saturday, maybe. And then we jump right back up into the warm air on Sunday. But enjoy it while it lasts, because we've got another trough or front that'll be passing on through Sunday night, and behind it, cooler weather moving in for the start of next week on Monday.
Michael McGuire on the chat board hit a deer with his car going at 70 miles an hour on I-77.
Oh,
yeah, your car is totaled, I'm sure, and thank God you're okay. That's the bottom line, is you're okay. The car can be replaced. You can't. So we rather replace the car, okay? I hit a deer right near my house a number of years ago, and I was only going about 15, not even 10 or 15 miles an hour when the deer basically jumped in front of my truck. Didn't do anything. I was lucky, got very little damage from it, but the deer wound up having to be put down because even at that slow speed, I think it broke both of its legs. But what are you going to do? Anyhow, thank God you're okay. All right, so let's take a look as we go into Sunday, Joe. This is where we probably have the more obvious cold front that comes through Sunday night into Monday. A little bit cooler, slightly cooler for the start of next week. But as soon as that high goes out, we go back into a westerly flow on Tuesday into Wednesday. So it looks like we're going to be back warming up to an extent into the middle part of next week. I don't really see, just running through the long range on the GFS, I'm going to do the surface first. Now, we're at the end of next week, and I'm looking here on the GFS, which is taking forever to load. But here we go. So it has some kind of cold front with thunderstorms here next Friday, and we're a long way away here. This is about as open speculation that you could possibly do this far in advance. But has some sort of strong-looking cold front that comes through on Friday into Saturday, or maybe it just comes through on Saturday. Who knows at this stage? And then on this particular run, Sunday and Monday look dry. So let's see what the upper air looks like. And we'll see if we can get a feel for, what it's going to look like for the end of the month.
Take this, boys and girls, with a large amount of salt, a grain of salt.
Yes, a huge pound of rock salt. All right, so
yes.
Okay, so let's see. All right, come on. Do. I want to just go back, at least roll it back from the beginning, but these maps are loading like an inch at a time. All right, there's your ridge. So we're at to Monday. Okay, so let's finally, okay, here we go. All right, so the Omega block with the low east of Bermuda, the other upper low in Nevada, the big upper high sitting over Tennessee, centered over Tennessee and Kentucky, and you've got a pretty strong westerly flow up in central and northern Canada. So we're obviously under control by this ridge, which gradually moves to the middle Mississippi Valley, which opens the door for systems to try to come down from the north. But again, nothing here. It's not like we have some kind of strong trough and shortwave in that northern jet that is running from Hudson Bay into New England come Sunday into Monday. So again, a big, basically a yawn type of system. The ridge starts to rebuild a little bit, and then late next week, I know the models were hinting at some kind of troughing coming in. There's a wrapped up upper low on day 11 sitting over Lake Superior. Now, I will say this is what I'll say about this. Um, in my view, this is kind of progressive. Everything seems to be moving along. The blocking is not really there. So the question will be: is it going to be a weaker trough that's further north, or a deeper trough that's further south? In which case, you might have a cold front come through at some point. This is why the GFS is bringing a cold front through here on Saturday on the Memorial Day weekend with some what looks like some strong thunderstorms if it verifies, and then after that, that just lifts out and it's fine. So I don't know. Are we looking for? The question is: are we looking for a washout? No. I mean, I wouldn't even begin to to say anything close to that this far in advance. We're still, how many days away are we? We're 9 days away from next Friday, right?
So this weekend is the last weekend before Memorial Day, before the unofficial start of summer. Yeah, and so the following weekend is the weekend that everybody is pinning their hopes on for nice weather for the start of the summer season.
Yeah, and by the way, just for laughs, if you run through the GFS through the whole 16 days, the Omega block actually comes back to an extent in the first days of June. Although this time around, the upper high is further west, and the upper low in the Atlantic is also further west. So that has different complications with regards to how our local weather is going to turn out, if this is even verified. So if you want this is an early guess on my part from what I'm looking at. I don't see, I don't see anything here of too much concern. If you're thinking that, if you're thinking about if you want to worry now about a 3-day washout for the Memorial Day holiday weekend, that's nuts. Okay, I just wouldn't do that. So
too early.
Also, by the way, and just to be clear to everybody, because we don't. How do I put this? I want to say this. I don't want to sound nasty. I know other people say things in terms of their forecast. Joe and I really rarely, if ever, comment about what other people are saying. So to me, that's like your forecast shopping. So if you want to forecast shop, that's fine. But I really have no interest in addressing someone else's forecast, because that's their opinion. And, I'm sure that they came up with that opinion, looking at the guidance and looking at models, and, that's what their thoughts are. But I'm certainly, I'm not interested in getting into some kind of battle with somebody over what, their forecast says versus what I think about it. So just bear that in mind. I don't watch, and most of you know this. So Mr. Ruben Fairchild, you might not know this. Okay. By the way, you're becoming a big star on this show, just so you know. Okay, I don't forecast shop. You should, I don't forecast shop. I don't watch anyone. Okay, even when I'm up in the New York area, I don't watch anyone. All right, I haven't watched television news and television weather in years. So when you tell me that, or somebody tells me that, well, so-and-so said, you're saying this, but so-and-so said, it really kind of means nothing to me. So I just want to kind of lay it out there. Anyway, I'm sorry. Once a week I get ranty. I haven't ranted in a while, so I'm ranting.
Yes.
Right, Joe? I mean, you and I are both on the same page with this. This is our show. This is what we say. We don't care what other people say.
Well, I think it's etiquette to say that you don't say anything about any other people on any particular platform, whether you think they're right or wrong or whatever like that. It's unprofessional. Absolutely,
right.
You don't
amongst ourselves. Amongst ourselves, when the mics are turned off, and that's a whole nother issue.
Yes.
By the way,
there was a guy.
You go. I'm
there was a
sorry.
guy on Fox. There was a guy on Fox 5. I think he ended up in Philadelphia. Yeah, but he used to do the weather on Fox 5, the morning show. And whenever he was right and somebody on another channel was not correct or whatever, he used to praise himself. He'd say, "Oh, well, we got it right here, but those other guys at the other station." And again, so unprofessional. You just don't do that.
It's also
You just,
your job
it
to get
doesn't.
it right. I mean, at
But
the
it's
end of the
also the fact that but you're not 100% right all the time yourself.
no, of
You
course
could just
not.
they
We are like you and
so
I are like Ivory Snow. We're 99 and 44 100% right. It's that 56 100ths every once in a while that shows up. Steve Lapointe hitting super
dear.
chat tonight. Thank you very much, Steve. Most appreciated. And yes, if you do like the show, because we do have fun, uh, and hopefully you do too, do please hit the like button. Joe and I like it when you hit the like button. The chairman, Scott Briller, by the way, this is his last night doing his COVID runs, and hopefully nothing happens on his last night. So we got our fingers crossed on that. And he did leave us a Briller Jeopardy uh, for me to you. So let
Okay.
me bring this up. La 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 la. By the way, I don't know why, but it popped into my head as I was driving home from the park today. The theme song to Casper the Friendly Ghost. Casper the
Yeah,
Friendly Ghost,
the
the
friendly
friendliest ghost
ghost,
you
friendliest
know.
ghost you
And I
know.
don't remember the when there's the next two verses I don't remember.
There, those grown up something looked at him with fright, but the children all love him so.
Right. He
He
always
always said
says hello,
hello,
and he's
hello,
really glad
and
to
he's
meet you.
really glad to meet you. Wherever he may go, he's kind to every living creature.
Right, exactly.
Grown-ups don't
Don't
understand
understand.
something.
Right, but children, grown-ups don't understand why children love him the most. But kids all know that they love him so. Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Casper the friendly ghost.
Oh, and by the way,
I
because you were delayed tonight, so what I did was I watched two episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. The first one was I caught the second half of it where Opie falls into he's playing by an old closed up mine, and he falls into a mine shaft. And
oh,
and the
are you sure
second
you weren't watching? You sure you weren't watching Lassie?
no,
And
it
that was
was
Timmy instead of
no,
Opie.
it was Opie. And the second one was Opie. Aunt B gave Opie a nickel for milk at school so that he could wash down his peanut butter sandwich. And as he was leaving, he asked his father, and she gave him the nickel to get milk for his peanut butter sandwich. And
Right.
as he was leaving, his father in the other room, and he asked his father for a nickel to get a thing of milk. So as it turns out, as he's on his way to school, he meets the bully Sheldon. Okay,
Uh-oh.
and he has to give Sheldon a nickel, or Sheldon is going to, beat him up. So those were the two
Right.
episodes. Anyway, here is
Sheldon's last name wasn't Leonard, was it?
no, it wasn't Leonard, nor was it Cooper. Okay. Okay, so here we go. So for Briller Jeopardy tonight, it's a special Mets Briller Jeopardy. The category are the 16 Baseball Hall of Famers who played with the Mets. Of the 16, how many of, let's see how many you can name. Of the 16 Hall of Fame baseball players who played for the Mets at some point in their career, um,
Okay.
can you
I better
name
get a
them?
pencil and paper so I don't. I better not. I better get something to write down on here. Hang on. I need some scrap paper. Scrap. All right. Here we go. So there were 16 of them, right? So let's
16.
go with Gil Hodges. That's number one,
Hold on.
right?
Hold on. Okay, on this list, I am not seeing Gil Hodges.
Gil Hodges got the first home run for the Mets in their history. It has to be there.
Let's see.
No Gil Hodges? Gil
No.
Hodges played for the Mets.
But is he in the Hall of Fame?
You know, you're right. I'm sorry. We've been trying to get Gil Hodges in the Hall of Fame. All right. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Why he is not in the Hall of Fame, I have no clue. All right. So sorry, Gil. Maybe someday. All right. So we'll start with somebody else. Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra's in the Hall of
Yogi
Fame.
Berra is on the list. Yes.
Right. Duke Snyder.
Duke Snyder is on the list.
Right. Gary Carter.
Gary Carter is on the list.
Okay. Let's see. Who else?
You have one strike, by the way, so just so you know.
Oh, okay. Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson is on the list.
All right. Say hey, Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. Keep going.
He's on the list. Who else? Tom Seaver, of course. Tom Seaver.
Keep going.
No, that's number 6. So far, how many of them were 16?
Mm-hmm.
I've got more than a third of them already.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to play for the Mets.
Let me see how he wrote this. Yes. Can you name? There are 16 baseball Hall of Famers who played with the Mets. How many can you name?
Who played with the Mets?
Well,
because there are a few of them that were coaches.
Well, there's one on here that I don't think played for the Mets. I think he may have coached or managed.
Okay. Well, like for example, well, this will straighten everything out. Casey Stengel.
He's on the list.
Okay, so Casey never played for the Mets, but he was a coach for the Mets. All right, that's good. That makes it a little easier. How about, believe it or not, Rogers Hornsby?
Rogers Hornsby is not on the list. You now have 2 strikes against you.
I know I didn't. All right. Well, I protest here. Rogers Hornsby was a Met coach in 1962, and Rogers Hornsby most certainly is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. All right. So we'll stay at strike. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. And I was wrong with Gil Hodges. God, who else did they have that was I'm trying to think of some pitchers. Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan is on there.
Nolan Ryan was on that list. I'm thinking. 5 or 10 years ago, I would have gotten a lot more of these, and they would have come like that. And then there's probably a few that.
You've got 8 out of the 16, so there's 8 left.
I got 8 left. 8 left. Why do you do this to me, Joe? Now I'm going to be thinking about this all night. Warren Spahn.
Warren Spahn. You've got 7 left.
Okay. Okay, so who would be number 10 on my list? I'm trying to think of like coaches, for example. Oh, God. Joe, I'm running a blank right now. I don't know why I'm just, and I know when you name these names, I'm going to be saying, of course, of course.
There's one of the most recent entries in the last few years.
Oh, Piazza.
Mike Piazza. Right. And one was a former Yankee. One was a former Yankee manager that took them to several World Series wins.
A former Yankee manager
Yes.
who took the Mets to.
No, who took the Yankees to several
Some,
World Series wins.
Oh, took to several. Oh. Well, we already
come
said.
on, Joe.
What?
I just gave you a hint.
Well, you gave me a hint, but
he's one of us.
What do you mean he's one of us?
He's a Joe. He's a Joe.
No, he's not Billy Martin. Billy Martin didn't play for the Mets.
He's a Joe.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
Joe Torre. Yeah.
So let's see. You got 1, 2.
I got 11.
3. I don't remember if you said this one. 3 or you have 4 left here.
Well, why don't we just give them?
All right. So okay. So Joe from bottom to top. Joe Torre, Mike Piazza, Richie Ashburn.
Center fielder for the '62 Mets.
Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Gary Carter.
Right.
Tom Glavine.
Well, Tom Glavine, yeah. Right.
Ricky Henderson. Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
Willie Mays. Eddie Murray.
Right. Yeah.
Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, Duke Snyder, Warren Spahn, Casey Stengel, and Roberto Alomar.
Roberto Alomar was with the Mets for all of like 2 months or 8 weeks or something. All right. And if the chairman is looking or is listening,
and the chairman,
on the chat board
is on the chat board right now, and the chairman hit super chat
as
he is done with his
Rogers
COVID
Hornsby
runs.
did. Congratulations, Scott. Rogers Hornsby, a Hall of Famer, did coach with the Mets in 1962. Not probably for very long. He was only there for 1 season, but he was a coach. Well, anyway. That was a good one.
Yes.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe if I haven't been sealed in this room for the last 3 hours,
and maybe if your brain was less fried from being having been sealed in the room for the last 3 hours.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Because you do get your brain does get fried.
Yes.
Christina Pedia, I know you asked before about the races. I didn't. I actually didn't watch the Preakness this weekend. I was just so disgusted with the whole, Bob Baffert thing. So I really haven't paid to. I've really been paying minimal attention to the Triple Crown this year. Though I did notice that the filly Malatat that won the Kentucky Oaks is. Skipping they thought they might send her to the Belmont because she's 5 for 5, but she's skipping the Belmont to race against the girls later on in June and July. So that would have been an interesting matchup to see her go up against the boys. But no matter, this is horse racing. All right. So
who was it who went? Who was the one that was a Ruffian? Remember Ruffian?
Ruffian hangs. I have a print of Ruffian that hangs in my other bedroom. A very large print. Certainly, if you have to make a list of the 5 greatest racehorses that ever was, you put Ruffian is in that list. And there's been no other horse like her. And I'm putting her in this, she's in the same league as Secretariat. She came the year after, 2 years after Secretariat. And who did she up against? Actually, Secretariat's trainer even had said that Ruffian head-to-head would have beaten Secretariat head-to-head. He was that he was that impressed. So, she was something. Yeah, she died in that match race.
Who was Ruffian going against that match race?
Foolish Pleasure.
Foolish Pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah. That was so sad. That really was. I think she's buried in the infield at Belmont, right?
Yes, she certainly is. I may actually go to Belmont one day next week, if weather permits. I haven't been to Belmont
in you're
in years.
Town?
Yeah, so I may go. All right, so let's call it a night, shall we?
Yes, we will.
Surely. Shall we? Surely. Okay. Thanks
Shall
everybody
we?
for
Surely.
being here. Again, special thanks to the chairman for another excellent Briller Jeopardy, and also for hitting Super Chat, and the fact that he finished his COVID runs. Congratulations. And again, a wonderful thing that you did. Also, Mr. McGuire, hitting the deer at 70-mile-an-hour plus. You totaled the car, but you're here to tell the story, and that's again the most important thing. And Christina Petey, I don't know if you saw at the beginning of the show, but I know you suffered loss recently, and we just want to express our condolences and our sympathies. So that's it for tonight. Tomorrow night, again, one more at 8:30 Eastern Time, and then we're out of here until Sunday. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow night, and that's at 8:30 Eastern Time. All right? All right.
We shall be here.
Nighty night.
So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have you back up here, Joe.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm not looking forward to the
Yeah.
drive, but it'll be fun. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Okay.
Oh,
Good night.
Steve LaPointe hitting Super Chat tonight. Also, thank you very much. Most appreciated. Good night, everybody.